Welcome to Chevalia. We hope you enjoyed this video as we've put it together just yesterday as we were introducing our colts who are now going to be a year in a couple of weeks, and we're taking them out to this big pasture that they've never been to before, but we won't be taking them down into the pasture, but we're going to prepare them for baby stepping it in a space of comfort and security and confidence before, so that we don't overstimulate them with anything scary. We also have created an environment not only with their mother and grandmama. Wodie is on the other side of the fence and she'll be coming around with Isabella, and Alexandra is holding Estedian, and Helena is holding Cernanos. Wodie is the mother to Cernanos, and she's the grandmother to Estedian, and we've asked her to come along with us just to be that equine representation of safety and security. If you have that advantage to do that with an older horse, a mature horse that has been there, done that, and can help be that additional grounding rod, then that helps and it goes a long way. But there's nothing that replaces the responsibility that we need to take as with our auric field, with the energy that we're emitting out. We need to come from a space of the sacred feminine aspects, which are nurturing, compassion, love, oneness, and groundedness, and the space of the divine in the center of Advaita, where there is no duality. There isn't love or hate or fear, or, you know what I'm saying? It is all based in the space of unity and oneness. And when we can ground ourselves in, become centered in the space of Advaita, while we're having a physical experience, a shared physical experience with our colts, we will be able to not only produce these wonderful experiences together, but build a foundation every day as we create positive experiences that go into their biomemory, our biomemory, our muscle memory, and their muscle memory, that the next time we go out and the next time we go out, it builds and deepens and enriches a relationship. So what I'd like to talk to you now, while our horses are being able to see Wodie, viewing the pasture, that is our goal of being able to take them down into, they are feeling very confident. They're looking back at their stallion friends, family, and they're also looking at Wodie and feeling very much like big boys now that they have are introducing themselves to, or being introduced to, this pasture where they have seen the mares go twice a day for feeding, and we're giving them, that's now your time, big guys, to experience this as well. And they feel this joy, but also this very stable interest and intrigue and excitement and happiness. As you can see, they're very calm, very relaxed, very confident, and it is based on also having Wodie there with us and having them observe the mares going into the pasture. It makes them also feel, hey, this must be a safe place because the mares are doing it. But it never replaces the one most important part of this element, and that is you. If you come from a space of groundedness, of space of compassionate gentility, nurturing, and confidence, clear of any root patterns, anything that is negative, then they will actually attune with you, and together your frequency, both of you collectively, will raise to a higher state of consciousness and a higher state of being able to experience the divine together. So I'm going to talk about the energy and our auric field. You've probably heard that auric field mentioned before, but I'm going to address it because a lot of people are not really understanding how important your auric field, your energetic resonance, affects horses. 99.99% of horses, their unwanted behavior is a result of people not taking responsibility for their energetic resonance. And the auric field actually is color and light that is emulating from without your physical body. It is the subtle body. It is actually emulating around you to even about 4 feet around you to the average person. For people who are more empathic and more energetic, that can expand exponentially, and those people need to learn how to be able to retract and pull in your auric field and then expand it at will, so that you are not affected by the auric resonance of any negative person that you may encounter, which we do throughout life, because a lot of people are not aware and they are not taking responsibility for their auric field and for what they're emitting out. So the auric field can be seen by horses. Animals can see spirits, they can see auric field, they can see energy in the form of colors, and so they are picking up on your auric field. And so what is your signature of your auric field? What is your frequency that you're emitting out? So let's talk about that, because it's very, very important. There's 4 aspects to being able to understand so that you can emulate the highest frequency possible within your being. And that is understanding that you want to have the highest perception of yourself. You want to have the highest perception of how others, the way you feel others perceive you. You want to have the highest perception of the world, even though it may not be manifested at this particular time. You still want to have and project the highest good towards the world, and you want to have the highest perception of how the world sees you. Those 4 aspects of the self, if you can really go in and journal how you actually are perceiving yourself, how you're projecting yourself out, how people are perceiving you, and how you are perceiving the world and how the world is perceiving you. If you can journal that and be really truthful with yourself, you'll probably find some aspects that come from some negative root patterns that are in your biomemory and muscle memory that need to be clear and cleansed. And so we can do that because the horse actually mirrors our truth. And so if our truth is emulating the negative root patterns that are embedded into our muscle memory and biomemory, we have this, horses have this incredible way of actually uprooting those, and they start coming out, and it registers into our auric field, and that can make a horse react very negatively because they don't want to be around that. They feel confused about why you're emulating that kind of frequency, even though you may not be consciously aware of it. They have this incredible ability of bringing up that root pattern within you and having that spill and pour out. And then what do? Most people, they're not consciously aware of it. So unfortunately, the horse is the one that is disciplined for having that bad behavior, when in fact they're actually just mirroring and responding to the auric field that we are projecting upon them. Because we have to understand that while our auric field may only be, or our personal, the reason why our personal space is 4 feet in diameter is because our auric field only goes out to 4 feet. As soon as someone comes into that energetic space, that auric field, we feel it. We feel their energetic space. And those, again, who are more sensitive and have a higher frequency, and they're more in tune with nature, they have a much wider auric field, and so they can be affected really immensely and intensely by others' auric fields as they pass by them. They can be even 50 feet away from you if you're that energetic, and you can feel a negative reaction to that. All of a sudden you feel sick because you walk past someone who has a stomach ache or a headache. You'll get a headache all of a sudden, and it really isn't yours, but because you shared an auric space with that person, that has caused you to be affected by that. So if we truly understand that we are sharing our auric field with other people, you really will want to take more responsibility in not only protecting your auric field, but emulating an auric field that is of the highest good, because that's how we can change the world. And that is a big scope, but as we were talking about horses, this is how we can deepen a relationship with horses, because horses typically do not have a negative auric field unless they have been abused or neglected or mistreated, and they have developed root patterns that cause them to that gets embedded into their muscle memory and biomemory, and so they need to really be worked with. So you might encounter horses that are that way, but in this case, where we have raised our babies from birth, they have this pure essence about them, and they're loving and trusting, and they want to be able to have a shared experience with you. And so they look to those who have that radiate the highest, most beautiful, brilliant colors of in their auric field, because horses can see it. Now, a horse's auric field is 25 feet in diameter. That's a lot bigger than the average person. So when you step within 25 feet of a horse, they are picking up your auric field. It's like water, okay? We're primarily made up of water, but our auric field acts just like water. So if there's something that, if you put your finger in a bowl and you swish it around, you see how the water churns and turns, and there's no way that the water in that bowl can go, I'm not going to have a shared experience with you. It has no choice. It is in that space. And so when you're stepping into a space with a horse, you are having a shared experience, and you are energetically synchronizing whatever the two of you combined are creating. So you want to be really attuned to taking responsibility for your auric field. And how do we do that? So you may be wondering, what has this got to do with horses? I want to train my horse to be a good boy or be a good girl and do what I want them to do. I want to be able to ride them. I want to be safe. I want to win medals. I want to win those ribbons. I want my horse to be totally awesome and boss and be better than anyone else's. And if this is your come from, then you probably are not in a space of being able to cognize what it is that we are even talking about. But for those who are really wanting to have a deep relationship with your horse, you've seen us dance with our horses, you've seen us, ride our stallions bitless, and you're wondering, what is this great mystery to what we are simply doing? There's no tricks or tools or anything that is some great mystery. The biggest Maya, the biggest delusion, is when you see a horse that is actually performing really astronomical feats, things that are just so wow, like the fast piaffe or passage, or these incredible, like otherworldly type of high knee action movements, and they're doing these very incredible moves to the untrained eye. I'm here to tell you that it is not due to having a good relationship, but I would say that the highest percentage of the results come from cruelty behind closed doors. And we are very much about compassion for the horse and being able to share our truth and our love and compassion and our absolute passion for horses in making them happy and having a shared experience. And whatever your shared experience brings you to, if it's for riding, if it's for doing any type of riding discipline, if they enjoy doing dressage, if they enjoy doing Western riding, or whatever the discipline is that you enjoy doing, make sure that it is always done in a space of compassion and nurturing and in a shared experience that the horse desires to do. Many times a horse doesn't even want to be ridden. Some horses do, some horses don't. A lot of horses don't want to, they don't have this competitive need. They don't have an ego to fulfill. So whatever it is that you do together, that your plans are, understand that your desire to even have a horse in your life is based on deepening a relationship. And I promise you that if you let go of any ego-based foundation of having the horse conform to your ego, if you let go of that and you just focus on their well-being and focus on raising your consciousness, raising your essence to a high frequency where you can develop and have a strong foundation with your horse, they will actually show you, hey, you know what, let's ride, let's do this together, let's do that together. They will and they may not, but the point is your relationship is nothing replaces your relationship. No ribbon, no pat on the back, no slap on their back. Nothing replaces a deep relationship that you have, because at the end of the day, at the end of your life, at the end of your breath, that horse is going to be your eternal companion. Our Chevalia programs are for horse people as well as compassionate seekers, spiritual warriors who are feeling this call to be able to raise their divine essence within themselves, ignite their chakras, ignite their Shakti Kundalini powers, and be able to do it in a space of integrity, authenticity, and responsibility. Because we truly are spiritual beings having a physical experience with all life. We are all one in this beautiful place that we call Earth. So let's listen to Helena, who explains some practical tips of working with yearling colts.
They're just being super. They're not acting steady. They're just calm and relaxed. If you do have a colt that's being steady, the first thing that we would suggest is to keep your distance from the mare, so that the colt stays calm. You don't want to. If they're excited, you don't want to put them in a situation that's just going to stimulate them.
That goes beyond their capacity to gain.
To handle.
Yeah.
And so keep your distance from the mare as far as the colt feels comfortable and can be in a relaxed state. Also, they're at this stage, you don't want to, so if they're wanting to whinny, or if they start dropping, you want to kind of keep their attention focused on you. So you just, maybe hey, get their head, kind of distract them from the mare, because you don't want the behavior to escalate into, excitement, stallion behavior. So don't let them, if they nicker, just kind of bring their head closer to you, get them distracted off of the mare.
And if you find the closer that you get to the mare, if it increases their inability to cope, you need to back up and baby step those moments so that you can eventually get closer to the mare in keeping the behavior that you're desiring.
Right. So right now, we were actually a lot closer to Wody than, and CERN was being really calm, and he was a lot closer to Wody, still maintaining that calmness than even I was expecting.
Because if you guys see, and we'll show you videos, but whenever a mare walks by their pasture, they start mounting each other, they start screaming and running, and all the little willies are all standing up, flagging.
At this point, they're showing us that they have an understanding that when you're in the halter on the line going out, that they need to behave, and that the pastures for play and for walking right now is to behave and to harmonize with you. It's not a playtime when we're walking, because you want your horse to be calm, relaxed, comfortable, trusting. So yeah.
And I think another element too that has added to their learning is that they've observed the mares walking back and forth 4 times a day. Back and forth meaning 2. They go out morning and then they go out at dinner time, and they observe how calm the mares are, how they're walking on loose, gentle lines. And so horses learn a lot by observation. People don't really understand how important it is for babies to observe the older horses to see how they're expected to behave on the line.
Yeah, we really try to have our young ones observe everything from an older horse.
Yeah. So teachers, horse teachers, I know I love you so much. horse teachers really help us out
Yeah.
because we can't expect the horses to act like humans. So the best thing is to have
Well, they're
a
learning
senior
constantly.
horse that
they're
can.
learning constantly from
Yeah.
you. They're learning constantly from their environment, from other horses. So just remember that.
If you're-
But at this stage, you know, as your colt is coming out of the weanling and he's becoming a yearling, the majority of the training, you know, if your colt is a stud colt, is about keep learning to deal with this testosterone that's coming in, because they're learning to deal with the testosterone that's coming in. So that's a lot. That's going to be like 90% of your training at this point if you have a stud colt.
And a lot of it is because Nefertiti, she's the same age. She shows a lot of the same similar excitement, except, you know, she doesn't have the male members. But the boys are, just because they're young and they may be expressing what looks like testosterone or even not testosterone, you need to handle it as and be understanding as if it is full testosterone coming in. You need to prepare yourselves to be able to not let their young excitement get out of hand. Otherwise, you could create a dangerous situation for yourself and for them.
Yeah. And
So working with colts, especially when they're young, is so critical.
Yeah.
Because when their testosterone does come in, and they all come in at different ages, different times of
and it can be really sudden.
and
like
it,
you
yeah,
can have a calm horse one day,
Yeah.
and the next day it's like, oh my goodness, what happened to my boy? You know. So having that,
Yeah.
even if you're not experiencing the
Yeah.
stud, you know, behavior, it's really, really good to just build that foundation so that when it does come in, you're ready. You know.
So those critical times for raising a colt to a stallion is from birth and through up to 4 years old. You really, and then beyond. You just did that, but those first
It's
few
really from the
years is
ages
just
to,
so important.
Yeah, and it's really from the ages to like 1 to 4 that you know, this just that we see the most testosterone coming in, and that's when the maturity kind of gets inhibited sometimes by the testosterone.
Yeah, we say they go blind.
Yeah, and so it's just so important that you are building that relationship and understanding, not getting mad, not punishing your colt for acting out his natural instincts.
Yeah, but
This
if you
is
understand,
nature,
yeah, if you
you know?
understand what's going on, you can't condemn a horse. You
Yeah.
can't.
We can teach them how to behave.
Yeah.
You know, how we ask them to behave and to harmonize with us instead of acting on those instincts.
He just had a
That's
dandelion.
fine.
They're so good for you.
But you know, don't ever punish or get discouraged or, you know, feel like it's the end of the world with your colt.
Yeah. So wherever you're at, let's say you haven't worked with your colt, or you've bought a colt that's 3 years old or 1 year old, just understand whatever they have not been taught at a young age, like these guys, they've had such a great foundation. But if you have one that is not, don't despair. We can work with you through that. You just start as if they were just born, okay? You just got a bigger baby. What's going on through the baby's heads right now is they are feeling so absolutely big boy. They got to go out almost to the pasture. Next time we'll just baby step it so we can get to the pasture. And the most important thing is it's not the goal, it's the journey, guys. You know, it's the journey, and that's what makes this so incredible.